right, folks, this is Hard Hat Conversations. My name is Richard. I'm your host here in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. Today is October the 27th, 2025. This is a podcast about trying to tell the truth and trying to get some real good answers of what's going on out there in the world. So let's do it. First of all, folks, you know I like to go to my notes, so let me go to my notes real quick. This is going to be a real short show because I got to watch the Cavaliers tonight. This Eastern time, they come on at 7 o'clock, and I want to watch them tonight. They play the Detroit Pistons tonight, and the old former coach they're going to play against, okay, Bickerstaff, JB. All right, folks, what my notes saying right here? I just got off work, folks. You know, I'm tired too. Do you folks really think November the 1st they're going to cut people food stamps and SNAP benefits because of the government shutdown? Do you really believe that? Come on, folks. You better than that. Come on. This is Hard Hat Conversation. Please like and subscribe. They're not cutting those. If they cut that, it'll be riots in the streets. What say you? You think it'll be riots in the street, folks? Or you think people just sit around and say, oh, it'll get cut back on. We'll just sit back tight and we'll try to find jobs if we can and go to work until it come back or do all kind of stuff. You think people do that, folks, or you think they'll riot out in the streets? Places like Walmart, CVS, Target, you think they'll get raided, folks? I don't know. You be the judge to that. You tell me. I have no clue today. You know, anything can happen today, folks. Especially when you cut people money and food stamps. Anything can happen. All right, folks, let me roll on real quick. Like I said, this is going to be a real quick, short one. My notes told me about this gambling thing that they talking about all over the internet. You know, they named a few people, Chauncey Billups, a couple other guys too. Folks, I got a question to ask you. You know, why is they always showing when something like this happens? Not saying all the time, but it seems like the majority of the time. Because if you watch the evening news, most of the crimes you see are black men. Am I right or wrong? Could be wrong, but most of the highlights they get is black men doing crime, right? We know white people do crime as well. But it seems like they highlight it more. So the point I'm getting at, folks, is, let me go to my notes. Is this racism or starism? It's those three guys up there in the front because they're real popular. People know them. Is that what it is, folks? Or is it just pure racism? You be the judge of that. Like, subscribe, and comment to me on that. Because they don't show no pictures of the Italian families that they named about, 3 or 4 of them? The Gambinos and something else. But we haven't seen, I haven't seen any pictures of them. And most of the pictures that you see when they're talking about this gambling scheme, it's the 3 black men that they got up there that was ex-NBA players and coaches. So we know they're not the big fish. We know they're the small fish, right, folks? You watch enough movies, you know what I'm talking about. So I think they're really after the big fish, or maybe they're not after the big fish. Maybe this is done on purpose. They'll use these 3 as a scapegoat. And the real big fish, because they got all the money and all the connections, they're going to get away scot-free. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, folks. I got an opinion like everybody else. You tell me. Do you think they're just throwing these as a scapegoats, or they really trying to break up this gambling ring? Because if they trying to break it up, folks, help me out, folks. I ain't got all my notes on this, but here in Cleveland, Ohio, I watched the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the station that the Cleveland Cavaliers are on is run by FanDuel. the top gambling spot. FanDuel runs the station, folks. So how can the government allow a sports betting company actually run a sports station? That their main thing is betting on different types of sports. I don't know. That's kind of, I don't know what's the word. That sounds like hypocrisy to me, folks. If you allow that to happen, and they running, they running the gambling, but yet they showing the teams, and they marqueeing is having their pictures and logos all over the stadiums. Shouldn't you separate that, folks? So people won't say, oh, it's all fixed. Because we already saying the games are fixed. FanDuel is big time. They're making millions and billions of dollars off of this gambling the last few years since it's busted wide open. Here in Ohio, it took them a long time, but they joined on in. Ohio said, well, we might well get some of this money. Even though Ohio is supposed to be more conservative, more Bible Belt, but you know how that is. Not saying that all churches do it, but churches need money to run too, right? Catholic Church gamble. They still have bingo nights, I think. So, should it be separation of church and state, just like, or you know how church and state is separated from the government? They always say that. But yet the church still get a tax cut on their buildings. Or is it okay for FanDuel to run the gambling ring? But they're going after these three, which they know better. They got money. They know better. They just being greedy, just like everybody else. They chose to do it. Nobody forced them that I know of. But nobody forced them to do this. So why are we not seeing the big fish? Why are we keep seeing the small fish? That's why I asked, is it racism or is it starism? Because every major crime, for the most part, unless it's a mass shooting, you see a person of color. Black. I don't know. I'm just asking that out. I'm just throwing that out. I'm not the judge and jury. You guys are the judge and jury. You help me out with that. All right. You see, this is hard hat conversation. We try to talk about stuff that's really what we want to talk about, not what the news networks talk about, because they don't want to get into this stuff because it doesn't wow everybody, you know, and they don't want to talk like this. So that's why, you know, when we get a chance, we have to talk like this, because this stuff is really going on, folks, behind our backyard, and we don't even know about it. And this affects our everyday lives in a way. It does, folks. But we don't talk about these things. All right, folks, like I said, it's a quick one. Let me get to my next story. Let's go to my notes. I got to mess with Stephen A. Smith for a minute. Like I said, I respect the man. I like the way he built up his thing. At the beginning, he was great. I recorded him every time he come on. He talked about nothing but sports. But now he dived into this politics stuff. And now I think he lost his way, because I know he's trying to make more money, trying to grow more. But sometimes some things are not just for you. You know, sports was made for him. Politics is not made for him. But today, I guess anybody can get in there. You know, they got actors in there. They got clowns. They got ring masters in there. They got everything in there, folks. So I guess maybe I'm wrong. Anybody can be anything, right? That's America, right? But what I'm beefing with him about is just a little bit, folks. Not beefing with him, but just making I don't beef with nobody. Just making a comment, you know, just all that conversations. You know, we having a conversation. So he's beating up, he's saying that, let me go to my notes, folks. He's saying that the DOJ, Department of Justice, is going. It's going. Let me see. It's going after Excuse me, folks, for a minute. He's going after Donald Trump, saying that he's using the DOJ uh, uh, to attack people that he didn't like when he was running for office, and they was after him with the Russia stuff and all this other stuff, money laundering, all kind of stuff. But didn't Joe Biden and them do the same thing when they was yelling Russia and all this stuff, and all that was found not right, not real, just made up? So why is he being political about it? That shocked me. Why is he being political about it? Why is he saying Donald Trump, y'all better watch out, y'all better be scared, it's the boogeyman? He's feeding the fire without people even realize it, because they already having those stupid marches talking about no kings. Because if you had a king, you wouldn't be able to march. The king would have sent the troops in and stopped you from marching. So that's ridiculous right there. So I don't know why he's making it political. Oh, but maybe I saw a little something on the internet that him and this U.S. representative named Jasmine Crockett, a black female Democratic U.S. representative from Texas, I guess he said some things about her that a lot of the black elite didn't like. That's just my assumption. You got to Google it to listen to it. That he said a few words that got around, that he was in a way attacking her a little bit. And some of the black elites probably came to him and knocked on his door. Yo, bro, you with us now. You know, you making $100 million contract. You know, you got to stay on our side. You know, you can tweak a little bit on the Republican side, but you got to stay on our side. You crossing the line too much. So somebody must have put him in his place, and he had to go bend the knee and apologize to her in a certain way. Maybe that's not true, but look up the video. I'm just saying. Because the same thing he said Donald Trump, accusing Donald Trump of doing, Joe Biden did the same thing with Donald Trump. Was sending the DOJ after looking, raided his house, did all kind of stuff. So I don't understand. They both do it. They both do it. What's the big deal? They both do it. So Stephen A, don't come out here trying to play sides and stuff. Stay in the sports. Leave the politics alone. You're an entertainer. Folks, remember, he's an entertainer. If you want to take him serious, that's your fault. He's entertaining. I like it when he's entertaining. I don't like it when he's trying to play like he's trying to be serious. He's not. He's entertaining. He's no different than the comedians and stuff. They're entertaining. So if y'all want to go ahead and wrap yourself up in what he's saying and stuff, y'all be the whatever and go ahead. Everybody has a choice. That's all I'm saying, folks. All right, folks. Last thing. Cleveland Browns, since I'm stationed in sports, since I'm stationed in Cleveland, Ohio. Here we go again, the carousel must turn again. I think it's time for the coach to leave, folks. Yeah, I know he was coach of the year twice, but none of them was his players, folks. He didn't have a hand in none of those players. And the quarterback that helped him make coach of the year twice, they got rid of. They played him when he was hurt. So I think it's time for the carousel to start spinning, folks. Time for the coach. Can't get rid of the owner. The owner loves the GM, so we can't get rid of him. So we need to get rid of some of those players. I could name a few of them. But they'll be all right. They got paid. They got millions. They're not hurting like me and you would. So, Browns, you're about to get this brand new stadium. You got what you want. Let's make some changes. This is Hard Hat Conversations. I hope everybody learned something tonight. Go get you something good to eat. If you can, watch those Cavaliers play the Detroit Pistons. Gonna get some good entertainment there. And have a good night. See ya.